Skype. All right. So I have started the recording and welcome all to the COVID-19 Scholar Peer Hub. Hi, I'm Shalini, and this is the General Assembly number 6, and today is 31st August 2020. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all. That's because you might be signing in from various parts of the world, and it's always a pleasure to have you all here. I would like to welcome the panelists. So a warm welcome to Dr. Francois Gass, Martha Nago, Doreen Imanayara, Charlotte, and of course, to all the scholars who made the time to join this assembly. So today's agenda is basically to check that you're up to date with exercise 1. Then we're going to have participant presentations as always on your project revision. And during that time, we will ask you, as always, to share your screen if possible and briefly summarize about what you've been doing in your project and what are the things that you decided to improve upon your initial draft and how you decided to finalize your project and why, and to give examples of the peer review comments that have helped you and what are you going to do, to improve your project, or what is it that you're going to use to finalize your project. And of course, what's next after exercise 1 is also something we'll be telling you about. So as you all know, there are some ground rules. If you want to make your messages visible to all the participants and attendees, then what you need to do is go onto the chat box and press the option, select the option of all panelists and attendees. And if you want to ask any questions, then we encourage you to type it in the Q&A section. That is, you click onto the Q&A button. You can also vote for the best questions, and you can comment on any of the questions if you like. Then, also, today's Monday, and as you all know, that after the General Assembly, we encourage you to get ready to join your colleagues by using Skype. So here are the sign-in details, and what you need to do is click onto the video button to start the call on Skype if you join. And if you join after the start of the call, then you need to remember to click join call in Skype. So let's see how things have been progressing over the past week. So the good news is that 333 scholars have submitted 3 peer reviews. So congratulations to all of you, and bravo. I mean, this is absolutely great. And this is the list that we put down for you all to see how many or who, the names of the scholars who have submitted 3 peer reviews. So obviously there are 333 scholars. So we have a huge number, which is fantastic. So you all can spot your name. And we only had 6 scholars who submitted 2 peer reviews and just 6 scholars who submitted 1 peer review. So I think the results are fantastic because we had maximum number of scholars who submitted 3 peer reviews. Now, what you need to see is during this week, you need to see your peers' feedback for your project in PeerGrade. And we have a video tutorial. So I would encourage you to watch the video tutorial and use that help. And in case, even now, after watching the tutorial, you have any issues or any challenges, then what you can do is you can reach out to us on Telegram, WhatsApp, or via email, or you can even take the help from your peers who are always ready to help, either on Telegram, or you can, have private messages. So please do not suffer in silence if you have any challenges or issues in navigating through the peers' feedback on PeerGrade. You must reach out to us. Now, the exercise 1 for week 4, the focus is this week to revise and submit your final project. And the deadline is 11:59 p.m. on 4th September, Geneva time. So you still have time. Do not get nervous. Just work on editing, or I should say, incorporating the feedback that you've got from your peers. I'm sure it would be constructive, and try and analyze what your peers have recommended for you to do. And it would make your project much stronger if you have constructive feedback. So nobody should feel that the peer review was negative. They should take it in a positive note, that it is only for helping you improve upon your project. So about now, this is another good news. We have around 32 scholars. We have 32 scholars already who have submitted their final projects. So a big congratulations to you all. And here are the names of the people who have already submitted the final projects on peer grade. There is somebody whose mic is on, sorry, so I'm gonna mute it. Yes. So congratulations, as I was saying. Now, as you revise your project, there are a few things that you need to keep in mind. That is, base your revision on the constructive feedback that you've received from your peers. And what you need to focus on is the action. That is, how will you take your project into action? What are the actions that you need to do to implement it, in other words? So there is some excellent guidance from Dr. Francois Gas, and he's going to run you through how to work through your project and how to reach the final level of your project and submit it, and what next. So I would like to invite Dr. Francois Gas. Please, Francois, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Shalini, and hello to everyone today on the call. And I know for some people it's very late. Thank you for being there, and I'm looking forward to a nice session where we can share our difficulties and share our success in getting the best project as possible. I would like just maybe to summarize, to make sure that we all follow and we are clear on the purpose, on the process of writing your project. And I think the first thing is what the purpose, the overall purpose, and we all have it, is to help to restore your coverage. You know that during COVID, the coverage has been damaged. The coverage has gone down, not everywhere, sometimes more in some part than everywhere, and the dropout has increased, and we all are aware of some of the reasons why. Outreach session not taking place, mothers fearing to be contaminated, health worker, fear of false rumors, etc. So that's the overall purpose of your project. Next one. I don't think I can. Now, you have all gone through the part one of your project. The objective of the part one of your project was to select your priority challenge and to set a specific goal for your specific challenge to overcome. This is very important to be clear about it. Of course, it would be important to first summarize your immunization situation, the COVID situation briefly, what's going on in your country with COVID. We have heard for some participants that immunization is not affected, but the immunization against seasonal flu is affected because the senior people, the high-risk people stay home and don't go for taking their seasonal flu vaccine. They fear to be contaminated. So if you have an immunization situation, it's very good to briefly summarize the impact of COVID on your immunization coverage. But then your next step become to list the main specific challenge. You all face many challenges that are causing the drop of your coverage or increasing your dropout. And of course, this challenge you may be at different level of responsibility. You may be at national level, or you may be directly at a facility level. And there may be rumors in your area served by your facility that prevent women to come and get their routine immunization. Now, among the challenge, you will have to select what do you consider your priority challenge that you should be responsible for to address. And we would like in the project that you justify your decision when you compare it to the other challenge that you face in your role at your level of responsibility. So you should answer the why with some evidence or some other reasons that make you choose that particular challenge. Challenge should be very specific. We all know at your district health facility level, you face few challenges faced to COVID, not just one, but choose one as a priority one. Maybe that's the only one that's not addressed. Maybe that's the most important one and you need to be involved in that one to make it work and to contribute to the resolution of your challenge. When you have made a specific challenge and a priority one, we expect you, as you have done, to set what they call a SMART goal, specific, that you can measure the goal, you can achieve it, is relevant, and it can be addressed within the few months and not over 2 years. It's something which is time bounded and it's extremely important. So one thing I want to pinpoint is that your goal should be directly linked to the challenge you want to address. Not, of course, it will contribute to the purpose, but we are here try to set a goal for the challenge you have selected. Next one. Part 2. Now, when you have selected and you have set a goal, you need to do something about it if you want to reach your goal and overcome your challenge. So you are asked to list priority action. We all can do so many things to achieve an objective, but some will be more important than others. And we ask you to make priorities and set very concrete priorities. In order to set priority action, you will have to review the main cause of your challenge and the main corrective actions. But then you will have to choose and list the few main actions or ideas that we've called it in the idea engine, and we would like you to use action verbs. Because we're talking about action, we're not talking about strategies or intention. So the word like ensuring, communicating, collaborating, coordinating are strategic oriented, planning, monitoring. They are not action verb. And I would say, if you say, let's look at planning, planning is generic. Developing a plan with communities, with leaders is an action. So that's very important to translate the generic word into an action that you will be able at one point in time to say, I've done it, it's done. Now, when we have set your few actions, you've seen that in the model for your template, there is about 5 potential for actions. And you could set an objective for each action. You could set an objective. If you want to train 90 workers on how to communicate with community leaders, this is an action and with a concrete objective if you match. Now, we would suggest that at least at the end, you include in that chapter an action to monitor your progress in implementing your actions and in indicators that show that you are progressing toward your specific objective. But for each main action, if you want the main action to happen, you have to develop through bullet points. We don't need a huge text. The action step, the implementation step that you need to make your action occur. Which means that in that section, you will define who will do what, with whom, when, and with what resources. It's a very important element to make sure, follow up. Some people say it's a critical activities to get something done. Next one. So now in the part 3, I think we have we have seen that sometimes people have only listed some source of the actions that you have decided to do. There is a section where you have to put your idea, the idea, and who is the author of the idea in the idea engine. Something we would stress is that sometimes ideas have been titled as challenge, and people have read what was done about the challenge and find an idea. It would be important to list the idea you find in that section, in that part that an author had deposited on the idea engine, not the challenge, an action that the author has suggested and you've decided to use fruitfully because it matches your context and it will be helpful. But please don't forget to list other sources. It could be, you could be the one alone. It could be with your other colleague where you're working. It could be other document like the COVID response plan. It could be the EPI continuity plan or whatever. So this is just to make sure that we all align on what we expect in that project. And don't hesitate, there's something very important is prioritization. This is very important because we are all very busy and there are some actions that may correspond to 5% of the success story and other 40%. So focus on the main action that will contribute the most to achieve your specific objective, even if you don't achieve it all. Thank you, and looking forward to your experience and where you may face some challenge in writing your project. Over to you, Shalini.
Thank you, Francois, for the great insights and for the guidance. And I'm sure all the scholars will find it extremely useful while they're finalizing their project and while they're thinking of how they are going to implement it or put it into action. So thank you very much. So moving on, I would like to remind you all to continue to join the daily lightning sessions with Francois and Charlotte if you need any support on how to create your final project that is actionable. And as you know, this platform is to share your experience and discuss activities in the Peer Hub. And the sessions are held every day from Tuesday to Friday throughout the exercise at 6 p.m. Geneva time. And also, you can join the daily technical support sessions with Alain. And these sessions are really useful if you need any sort of technical support. And the purpose of this platform is to help you solve any problems or technical issues that you may have in navigating through different platforms which are used in Peer Hub. And as mentioned, these are also held from Tuesday to Friday throughout the exercise at 11 a.m. Geneva time. So you still have time. If you need any guidance, do join these sessions because they're absolutely great. And just remember the time, 11 a.m. for daily technical support sessions and 6 p.m. Geneva time for the daily lightning sessions. So now we will move on to the participant presentations. And in the participant presentation, basically, we are going to focus on the revision of your project. That is how you're going to finalize your project before your submission. And for this, what we're going to ask you is to remind us who you are and where you're from and where you work, and to share a screen if it's possible, and to briefly summarize your project and explain what you did to, what did you do to decide, on what you are going to accept, which is the feedback that has been given by your peers, and what are you going to use in your final project and why. And we'd like it if you could give us an example of the peer review comment and how it helped you and what you decided on how you would act on it. So I would like to invite Martha to share her screen. and help us and basically demonstrate on how to react and how to see the feedback. And she will guide you on how she did her project's finalization or what she learned from the feedback of her peers. So, Martha, can you hear me?
Yes, Shalini.
Welcome, Martha. It's a pleasure, as always, to have you here. So would you like to share your screen?
Yes, Shalini.
So I'm gonna allow you to, sorry, I'll allow you to share your screen and I'll stop sharing mine. Yes. So please go ahead. You can share your screen.
Okay.
In the meanwhile, I'd also like to welcome Ian and Alain from the Scholar team. Welcome you all.
Hello, Shalini.
Yes,
Hello.
Martha, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. Please, can you see my screen?
Not yet. Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
we can see your screen now. Thank you, Martha.
You're welcome. Hello, everyone.
You're welcome.
I'm Martha Ngwe, connecting from Boya, Cameroon. I work for the EPI technical group for the Southwest region, Ministry of Public Health. So I'll begin by how to receive the feedback, how I received my feedback, and how I reacted on the feedback. We have these two green buttons, the one for submit and the one for submit reaction. If you want to see your feedback from your peers, you have to click on submit reaction. So I click on submit reaction. And here we have this. I'll begin by saying for those who submitted their initial project and for one reason or the other, they cannot find the initial project on their computers, you don't need to panic. Once you land on this page, you can click here on class. Sorry. You can click on submission because actually we started this exercise with assignment. The next thing we work after working on assignment, we submit it. So your initial project is right here. So when you click on submission, you will see here this is my initial project I submitted. And because of the network, the connectivity, the preview is still loading. So once you are here, you can click here and you download your initial project that you submitted. Your initial project is there. The initial project is on the electronic template. So you can see, and then you can see that after submission, we review. After review, we have to react. So now we are on react. So you have to click on react. So here we are on react. So these are here we have the feedback from our peers. So to begin with, once you receive and you have not reacted, you will have just reviewer one. Yeah, just reviewer one. Unlike when we're on review, we had submission 1, submission 2, and submission 3. But when you click on React, if you are still fresh on React, you have just reviewer 1. Unless you complete your feedback with reviewer 1, you will not see reviewer number 2. And for a quick check, the denominator here indicates the number of review you have received from your peers. And the numerator indicates the number of feedback you have given to your peers for commenting, for reviewing your project. And this two will still be up here as a superscript. So if you review one and submit, you will have it highlighted here, superscript 1. If you react on 2 of on reviewer, on 2 of your reviewer, you have the superscript. So by the time I will be done, I will have 3 on 3 here, and there will be 3 superscript here, and this we just check to a blue tick. So on my, please just give me some time. So on my left here, I have what my reviewer number 3 had as comment for me. This is where we can see the comment. You can comment and you can like the comment. So one thing I want to indicate here is that when we are receiving our feedback, we should receive it with a positive mind. It's just a reviewer's point of view. So we should not be angry with what we have in front of us. And you see, these are all the comments for my reviewers, from reviewer number 3, and it goes down. The reviewer has rated and then give his or her comment. And on my right here, we have this box, we have this check. The feedback should be constructive, and it should tell us how to improve on our work. It should be specific and point to concrete things, and it must be justified and provide explanation and not too harsh. We should not use harsh language. So on my right here, you see, you have to indicate whether the feedback was useful to you or it was not useful. And if it was useful, was it somehow useful, very useful, or extremely useful? So if you take any of these, for example, I will take extremely useful. When you click there, you will see this, this one will pop up, additional comment, and you can click there. And down here, you can state why you think that the comment was useful, the feedback was useful to you. And once you are done typing what you want to type, why the feedback was useful. And for me, if you check the other feedback I've given, I always thank my reviewer, because we are all busy professionals and it's not easy for someone to take time off to really review your work and then give some constructive comment. And after you have done that, you come here to submit your feedback reaction. So I've done that for two of my feedback, and it's remaining just 1. That's why I have 2 on 3. And I'm so happy with my reviewers because they did a great work. My work was actually, my project is actually on, so I'll project my work. My project is actually on the restoring routine immunization service through community engagement within the context of COVID-19. And the challenge has been drop in attendance of preventive services, including immunization services, due to plethora of rumors. And my objective here is to engage the community in controlling this rumor, as well as improving on routine immunization services. Why I chose this challenge is because I work in a region in which for the past 4 years now, it has been in a conflict. It's a conflict zone. That's a political crisis that has been ongoing. And due to that, so many people have been displaced. And so we find ourselves in a kind of double penalty where we have this displaced population, where we cannot really reach them. And they too, they are in their new settlements with so many kind of challenges for us to reach them, and them to reach us. So we have low immunization coverages, and coupled now with COVID and the rumor, so we have a kind of double penalty. So early this year, just when COVID hit Cameroon in March, we had this period that was funded by UNICEF. And from the onset, it was not easy to really implement that period with the rumor that came up with the COVID vaccine. But somehow we succeeded using community leaders and also community members to really go through that process of a period. So all along for the past 3 years, we have been having coverages, immunization coverages that range from 47 to 53. But with a period that was piloted just in 5 out of the 18 regions, we're able to have a coverage of up to of up to 70%. But looking at it, Peru will not always be there with the crisis that is still ongoing. Peru will not always be there. So I thought of what can really be a good way of ensuring that immunization, especially outreach, should be strengthened in these communities, both the settlements where we find the IDPs and the new ones, where the new settlement that they have relocated. So that's why I thought of engaging the community and really training community informants so that they will be in the community themselves and control this rumor. And since it's a bit difficult for them to reach us through immunization service, the community should also be involved in planning and also tracing defaulters and also administering these vaccines, help us in outreach. So one thing to highlight is that this crisis also brought about displacement of even health workers. And we can see that even the few existing health workers who are there, the COVID to have just come for emergency to also give them extra load. So it will be a good thing to use the community members for all these activities. So one of the comments or the suggestion I happily received from my reviewer was that of really adding some of my indicators to monitor progress. And I've done just that. I really did not put it during my initial project, but two out of the 3 reviewers had similar suggestions for me to add those indicators. So I've added it to my work, and I'm so happy about those reviewers, because for my 3 reviewers, it's like they were collaborating to give my suggestions. All the suggestions, they look similar. So
Martha, can you just scroll down and tell us what exactly the feedback was and what you have accepted?
It was not really that difficult for me to apply what they said, and their suggestions were not really out of context. Hello, Shalini?
Yes, I was just saying, if you could scroll down and show us the feedback that you received. Which 2 did you accept?
Okay, this is one of the feedback from my peer, stating how I could add some of those indicators to monitor progress. This is it. So going back to my project, you can see indicators I've just added. As I said, the suggestions were all similar from reviewer 1, 2, and 3. So they were mostly based on the indicators. So I've added them there. Thank you.
Excellent presentation, very clear and concise, and thank you for showing us how to react to the feedback by the peers and what to do if you want to incorporate the feedback that you've received from the peers. So thank you very much, Martha. And now I would, before I invite Francois for his guidance, I would also like to welcome Professor Facility Cuts. It's a pleasure to have you here, Facility. So Francois, over to you for your guidance and expert comments.
Expert experience, some experience, expert, I don't know. I think
No, we
have more expertise when they look at their context and their experience. But I will mainly comment where I would like some clarification. You know, I would say that the first clarification it was great to see that your challenge in a specific way was to correct the fear of contamination and to control all the rumors that are affecting your immunization services. This is if you want to control the fear of contamination and the rumors, is excellent. And you need then actions to do that. Now, in your goal, I need more clarification because engaging is hard to judge. Have you achieved the goal? Are community engaged? It's very difficult to measure your goal, and you should be more specific on your goal to control rumor. Are you going to detect 80% of rumors and react to 80% of rumor? This would be one way to specify your goal. And then if you have the fear of the communities to be contaminated, what would be your goal to decide that this fear now is gone? How do you express this in terms of a specific measurable goal? That would be important. Otherwise, you have a difficulty to say, I have achieved my goal, or you will have to build something up. For the next, if we go down to the, I think you have done a very good presentation in describing the situation. You are in the Southwest with insecurity, and the pandemic has worsened the situation and make it even difficult to organize regular PRI to compensate for the displaced population which have poor access to immunization. Now, I could see your actions, could you go down and the actions that you have set up and the implementation step? Can you share the screen on that? If I can, I think I want to congratulate you to have been very detailed on what you will do, how, with whom, and even a time frame for implementing those activities with really a lot of details, and we understand what you're going to do. That's very important. You have mentioned something which was not in, but you are putting it. How are you going to follow up and monitor the action you've planned for? I would like to be, you are at subnational level, I suppose. Are you in a region? Are you at the district level? If you can clarify, would be useful. And because, as you know, your responsibility depends on the level where you are and what we call your terms of reference, your job description, because you may not be at the level of communities. And I'm glad you specify who will do what, but it's your project. So you become accountable to implement the project and to achieve the results. So I think the monitoring part, which you have raised, is a very important part that we want to see in every project with some indicators. And I'm glad that, it's a good thing that most of the reviewers have stressed the need for monitoring activities to measure your progress of the time. Are you succeeding, or do you need to change a little bit the strategy? And that the follow-up will tell you if action steps have been taken and if your action is giving you the result you're looking for. So thank you for a very detailed explanation. I would like to stress once more that we know you have problems before COVID, and you have stressed that you have more problems. Your initial objective is at least to restore immunization where it was before COVID. And I know you all also have activities to go beyond that, what you were achieving before COVID for all the constraints you face. But here we're trying to be really focusing on correcting the negative impact of COVID on your coverage and your immunization. So changing the main cause, which are the rumors and the fears to be contaminated. Thank you again for sharing your experience. It's very interesting and it's a great project. And I think with a few help of the reviewer, you're going to really make a great project and a little bit more specificity in your goal. Over to you, Shalini.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Francois. And thank you very much, Martha, for the presentation. And we have some fantastic comments as well from the scholars. we're saying well done, Martha, for your presentation. And from Professor Felicity, who's saying, I'm happy to be here. And thank you, Professor Felicity. And then we also have some more comments on Martha's presentation, and they have really appreciated it. So that's great. Thank you very much. So we have a question from Yao Soleil. Yao, if you would like to unmute your mic and ask your question live. You've said that what are the challenges and the goals we submitted in my project? I'm sorry, I didn't quite understand your question. If you could specify what you were trying to ask us, and we'll try and help you. And you've written that you've seen one of the peer members' projects on the screen. And if yes, how come? So could you specify what your question really was? You can unmute your mic now. Yeah.
Hello?
Hello. Hi, Yao.
I can hear you.
Great. And we can hear you as well.
Good evening.
So could you tell us where you're from and where you work?
I'm Suleiman from Nigeria.
Great. Welcome. So what exactly was your question?
This question is that, during our project, we wrote about, according to the rubric, it's four challenges, and, four challenges and 4 goals. And where I explain and justify everything. So now, are we allowed to add more goals and challenges and the goals?
So I would invite Dr. Francois to guide you on this. Francois?
Thank you, Shalini.
Yes.
We're convinced that you have many challenges to address with because of COVID negative impact on your coverage. And as we mentioned, we would appreciate if you list the many challenges, but I think the objective of this project is to choose one challenge and a priority challenge for you, and to justify why you choose that challenge. Is it that this challenge, the cause of the problem you face, is the most important cause, and you decide to put your effort into that challenge to overcome it? We are not looking at several challenges. I'm sure you have other colleagues or yourself. You're also dealing with other challenge linked with COVID, but we want you to make a prioritization. It means addressing a very important challenge that may not resolve all your problem, but will contribute with a major impact on your challenge that you use, on your specific challenge and priority challenge. So our recommendation is to focus on one. Now, in terms of the goals, I think in the goal you set, nothing prevents you to have 2 goals to address your challenge, and 2 very specific, measurable goals that you can achieve, because this project is yours, and it has to be relevant to your area of responsibility, and not say, well, it failed because people didn't implement. You are in charge of that project. Of course, you're going to work with colleagues at the front line that will do the work. But so in reply, one goal, one challenge, and you could have 2 goals, and then you will have to list several critical actions, again, prioritize, to respond to and achieve your goal, or get the most possible contribution to the goal.
I understand. Can you hear me?
Sorry?
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
The next question, this one, I'm clear. The next question is that I have seen just a project of somebody from Cameroon, something like that, and is being focused on the screen. Is this selective, or is just the one that he presented his project to be viewed in the screen now? The one you discussed just now.
Sorry, I didn't.
Hello?
I didn't understand.
I have seen one of the. Yeah, I'm
Could you
on my
repeat
question now.
your question, Yao, please? We couldn't hear you clearly.
Can you repeat?
Hello?
Yes, Yao, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. I say one of the question, the second question is that I have seen one of the project on the screen. For one of
Yes.
the, is he selective or is the one that he presented by himself to the screen?
Sorry, your audio is not very clear. If I understood, you said that you watched the presentation that was presented right here on the screen by Martha. And what was the second part of your, what was exactly your question?
Okay, so what this is, I'm asking for the second question. I think you get me clear.
I would encourage you to type your question because we're not able to hear you. So could you type your question in maybe the chat box and we can try and answer it.
Now your voice is clear to me now. Can you hear me?
No, your voice is breaking up. We're sorry, but it seems like your voice is breaking up.
Yeah, I can hear you. Hello?
Yes, please repeat your question.
Okay, let me type the question. Let me
All
type the
right.
question.
Thank you. Thank you. Martha,
Thank you.
Martha, I see that you raised your hand. Would you like to unmute your mic?
Yeah, I just wanted to repeat what he was trying to say. He was asked if my project was security and the COVID.
Sorry?
He was asking because it's like he's in an insecure conflict area. So he's asking if the project I presented was based just on insecurity or is on insecurity plus COVID.
All right. Okay. Okay.
I think now I understand better. I think what we expect in that project is not to resolve all the problems you face because of insecurity in an area, and there are many areas in sub-Saharan Africa with insecurity, Mali, Burkina Faso, Nigeria. But what we expect is that the impact, the negative impact of the COVID environment, you're going to control it. You're going to overcome the negative impact of the COVID environment. And for example, I would say, and we have heard that Martha's project was like around 50% coverage, and it was achieved with sort of regular period. And now the COVID is putting at risk the implementation of outreach, and the result could be a drop in coverage, a further drop in coverage beyond the challenge of achieving coverage before COVID. So the challenge, your question is an answering because it's a bit mixed. I think the insecurity may have an effect on the outreach execution, but the outreach quality could be suffering from COVID, the mothers being hesitant to go for immunization. So they are interlinked, but what we focus here as an objective is restoring immunization before the COVID pandemic took place, and looking at what are the challenges created by COVID that have even reduced your performance comparing to pre-COVID. Thank you. Is it clear?
Yeah, was that clear? Yeah, could you type whether you thought it was clear? I don't think he's being able to unmute his mic. So I'm going to thank you very much, Francois. I would like to invite Alain.
Yeah, thank you, Francois, and thank you very much, Martha, for this clear presentation. And then I think that one of the question you wanted to address was like kind of what was presented, like after identifying that challenge, you can really work on and choose a specific goal. I mean, the specificity of the goal or objective, like Francois was saying, it depends on you, what you can actually act on with your action, the action that will come. So there is a link between choosing one challenge amongst many, justifying why you're choosing that one, then go down, narrow down, and then choose a goal that you can achieve. And I see that because we say goal or objective, I mean, it's something that you really can achieve. So it has to be smart, it has to be measurable, it has to be, locate in time so that you can actually, like Martha said, have some indicator to really see that you're on track. So that's what I would just want to add it. The question, his question was like, can we have many objectives? So I mean, use the template. The templates really say to you, state your objectives or goal here. So it's one, but if you think that you want to have more than that, well, make sure that it's feasible. You may, the reviewer may say that, no, it's not achievable in that time. So we really have to use the template that was given so that we harmonize our view and then help our reviewer, with some frame so that we can really work on it. So like Francois was saying, it's difficult to prioritize. I know you can have more than one objective, but actually I will really appreciate if you work on what you are doing actually in your day-to-day work so that it makes sense to you as well. So thank you, Shalini, for that.
Thank you so much, Alain. Thank you for your insight and input. And I would also like to add to what you were saying. I think Yao was talking about multiple goals. So you should have one goal. You would have one goal. Your objectives could be more than one, but your goal would be one that you should focus on, as Francois has already reiterated, and try and keep it narrow. Please do not use some sort of goal which is so wide or broad that you find it difficult to implement your project in real time. So that's something that we all feel that you should rethink about. And we have Olu Funmilola, who also wanted to comment. So Olu Funmilola, I'm going to unmute your mic. If you give me a minute. I'm just trying to see if I can find you. Nope. All right. So Olufun Milola, could you unmute your mic?
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. This is Olufumilola from the Federal Ministry of Health in Abuja.
Welcome.
I was trying to get the question of a colleague from Nigeria who was trying to know how Martha's project was selected. Was it randomly selected or was it purposively selected? That was what he was trying to get.
Okay.
How you selected that particular project for discussion in the meeting. I don't know what was behind his mind, why he asked, but he actually wanted to know whether it was purposively selected or it was randomly selected. That was his question, just to clarify.
Oh, thank you so much. So just to answer to Yao, so we did invite Martha because she had done the reactions and she was willing to present on how she reacted to the feedback that she got. I hope that answers your question. So
no, it's not mine. That was his own question. That guy.
Yes. Thank you very much, Olufin Milola. I know. Thank you for clarifying. And I was trying to answer Yao's question. I hope he got his answer. So moving on, I see that we only have 6 minutes left. So if anyone has any more comments or wants wants to get some guidance, we just have very, very little time left. But I see that we also have some questions in the Q&A section. So there is an anonymous attendee who says, I would really want to review all the comments of the first reviewer before going to the second reviewer. Yes, you can do that, but I believe that you already submitted your review, your feedback or your reaction. And once you've done so, as Allah said, that unfortunately it gets locked, so you don't have to worry about it. And Pierce Saria is asking if, Peace Saria is asking, can I still review the peer project? Are you asking about the peer review, or you can just type in the chat box and let us know, and just so that we understand what your question is. So I think since we're running out of time, so what we can do is move on. But, and I don't see any more raised hands either. So what I would like to do is, all right, we have one hand which is raised. So maybe we can just quickly give 2 minutes to Olubowale. Would you unmute your mic, Olubowale? Sorry, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Can you unmute your mic?
Yes, thank you, thank you. It is Olubowale from Nigeria.
Olubowale from Nigeria.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. It's just for me to report that as soon as I got papers from colleagues for me to review, I reviewed them within 48 hours and I submitted. But I'm reporting here that I've not gotten a feedback concerning my own submission.
Right, so did you go to React?
What do you say?
Did you go to React on PeerGrade?
Yes, yeah, they said there is no submission yet, no feedback now yet.
So what I would suggest is, you know, we can connect. You can connect with me or Alain after the session, or tomorrow if you like, and we can help you or guide you on how to do that. Right?
Excellent. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And you can also attend Alain's session tomorrow, which is the daily technical support session, which is held at 11 a.m. Geneva time. Or if Alain has any comment for you, I will just ask him if he would like to guide you right now, or if he would like to help you tomorrow, maybe. Alain?
Yes, Shalini, we can work on that tomorrow. What is happening is depending. If you submit a bit late, then you may want to give some time, because
I submitted timely. I worked on it and I submitted on time.
You submitted on time. So, okay,
Yeah.
I will advise you to really go and check the video that Shalini shared the link here to see how to receive peer review, and make sure that you're there, and come back to tomorrow during the technical session. You may want to share your screen with us if you can, and then we will see how we can address the issue.
All right, I will attempt to be available tomorrow. Yeah, I will attempt to be because currently I'm in the field. I had to, struggle to get the internet to be part of this meeting. But I'll
so
ensure
it's
that
from Tuesday to Friday, or
I'm aware. I
I
joined intermittently. Yes, I joined the discussion intermittently. I will try and be available tomorrow morning.
Excellent, very well, well done. So see you tomorrow then.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Alain, and thank you, Olubowale.
Thank you so much.
And we have one more raised hand, but we just have 1 more minute to go. So if I'm just allowing you to speak, Usman, if you can be very, very brief and tell us what, Usman, you can unmute your mic now. Usman? So I don't know if Usman is available. So although I see his raised hand, but since we're running out of time, so I think we'll move on. So coming to what the next steps are. So what we need to do, as we've already told you, is focus on the week 4's focus is to revise and submit your final project. And the deadline is before midnight on 4th September, Geneva time. So you still have time, and I'm sure you guys will make it. And make sure that to meet all these certification requirements, you contribute to the Ideas Engine. This is something that we want to remind you about. And you also submit the Peer Hub reports on time, and you have submitted the initial version of your project on time during week 2. And the other requirement was 3 peer reviews on your peers' projects, which were to be done by Friday midnight in week 3, and to provide a substantive revision and improvement for the final version of your project submitted on time during week 4. And as I said, the deadline is 4th September before midnight, Geneva time. So what happens after exercise 1? There is exercise 2 on communication, negotiation, and community engagement. And here's the link, which I'm going to paste on the chat box so that you all can save it and go on to it. There you go. And then the main thing, which is the impact accelerator, but the details of this will be shared with you soon. So, and now what we want you to do is join your country colleagues using Skype. But before we leave, I would also like to invite Professor Facility, if she's there, to give some comments. So it looks like she's not there anymore. So what I would like to do is thank all the panelists, Dr. Francois, Dr. Alain, Charlotte, Abdulatif, Dorian, Imaniara, and Martha. And I would also like to thank all of the scholars who are present today, and to Martha and the others who asked very, very interesting questions as well. So all the best to you all for the final project, and please proceed to join the Skype group, your country group on Skype. So be safe, have a great day, a very good evening, or good morning, or good afternoon to you all. So bye for now. And Martha, could you close the session, please?
Okay, thank you, Shalini. It has been a great evening. Thank you all for being part of the meeting. Thank Dr. Francois with his always brilliant ideas and contributions. Together, we shall create the impact in the immunization community. Thank you very much, and bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you to all, and thank you to you, Shalini.
Thank you.